Hey, well, here with some bullshit or just another opinion. Um, yeah, just here for another opinion or another video. I'm gonna be going into a lot of I guess a lack of rated E games and story content and gaming companies not uploading or not trying to experiment with new IP slash titles like they did before back in the past. But yeah, if you enjoy the content, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, comment below. If not, all I want you to do is enjoy the video. That being said, let's get right into it. Uh, mm, I find it very, I find it very weird that a lot of rated E games are starting to become non-existent. If that's if that's what's becoming, if that's gonna make sense, probably not, but I'm gonna keep it going. You know, when I was growing up in my era of gaming, I grew up with, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and Jack and Dexter, Spyro. I think Crash Bandicoot was a little older than the games I just named. I'm not sure. But, it's kind of sad that kids kids in this generation that's probably in like elementary to middle school don't have a game or like a franchise they can relate or grow up with and be like, wow, that shit is kind of cool. And am I the only person that's saddened by that? It's probably just me, or it could be everybody else. But the fact that they don't try, or game developers don't try to make newer rated E games or story context that can appeal to, rated E is not for kids, it means everybody, but making newer IPs to where people can be like, wow, I can't wait for this type of game, like what they did with her Horizon Zero Dawn. Excuse me. That game was amazing, and kudos to and props to Sony for always like finding the best writers for a good story, for it being engaging and just overall entertaining. Um, but the fact that all you see nowadays in terms of new game releases is these rated N games or like these rated T games or like just games that are centered around multiplayer and competition. It kind of sucks in my opinion if I'm strictly talking about the youth, because there's nothing wrong with kids trying to become the best at what they enjoy or what they like. That's completely fine. Everyone has something like that when they were growing up. But the fact that kids don't have something to where they're like, wow, I really grew up with this. I really grew up with this. And the fact that the only thing they can probably remember is Minecraft or Fortnite, it to me it just puts a sad look on my face, because it's like, damn, because you still got games like Ratchet and Clank that came out not too long ago. I don't know the initial release date, but that game's been out, or that franchise been out for almost damn near 2 decades, and look how good that series is doing. Sly Cooper, if Sly Cooper didn't have that god awful Thieves and Times, in my opinion, the game probably would have still been as relevant or even more popular than Ratchet and Clank. And Jack and Dexter, after Jack X or whatever the PSP game was, that's when that game started declining. But you can argue that the trilogy is still great. And the fact that I grew up with those type of games, I'm really blessed to know that, damn, like I can say I grew up with these titles and they're always going to be like a masterpiece or a hidden gem in my opinion, because it's something nostalgic at the end of the day. Even till now, I can still play it and find enjoyment in it. And the fact that a kid now, I can't imagine them playing Roblox or Minecraft or even Fortnite when they're in like their 15s or 20s and having no real, I guess, lesson from it. Because the thing that was great about all the other games I just listed or just named, like Ratchet and Clank, even the very first one, Ratchet and Ratchet and Clank. Obviously, it's the title and the name of the game, but those two in the beginning of the game, if anyone played it, they didn't fuck with each other at all. You know, Ratchet was just like cool little kind of like street kid or street cat, and Clank was just like this nerdy robot that wanted to save the world, but then he couldn't really do it by himself, so he needed Ratchet's help or Ratchet's combat abilities to give him around, excuse me. And you know, it's just that sense of character development and understanding and that journey that you have with these characters that really makes it impactful later down the line when you grow up, because you find you appreciate shit like that. It has sentimental value, if that makes sense. Minecraft, I played Minecraft while I was in high school. Would I play that shit now? Hell no. I would not touch that game at all because it's so boring. But you know, it's a game that you and your homies, or if you with your girl, if that's what y'all want to do, y'all could just kick it and play. I can't imagine a dude playing Minecraft with his girl, but you know, it's an option. And or Fortnite and vice versa. But yeah, it's like the lack of rated E games, I feel, makes the gaming community, or just makes gaming in general, just that more okay. The next game rated T, rated M. Next game is this, that. You know, gaming is appealing to us, to the adults, more than it is to kids, and I hope the kids would like just have something overall that they can grow up with, or something they can learn from. Because if you truly think about it, rated E games are kind of like tutorial for people, for people, because E is everyone, to really get into games. It's just really learn the control of games. And you know, the only company that's killing it or still releasing rated E games now is Nintendo, and they're making a killing at that shit. But the fact that Sony had great rated E games, that they're not expanding it off of it or just trying out new IPs and titles, to where kids, me, my mother, or anybody that deems that they want to play it, you can't try out. You have to go into the Call of Duties, or the Battlefields, or the Back 4 Blood. Like, even those games is a franchise, but it's not, you know, you can't really, how do I say, it's the same thing necessarily, it's the same thing kinda, but it's not that impactful, because you know, some of the Call of Duties are not heavily driven by story, if that makes sense. Like all the other games, even Ratchet and Clank, like something to where everyone can enjoy a good story, I think is what gaming is missing at the end of the day. And most of these newer games that are coming out is only towards a mature audience, as not towards kids that can find a life lesson, or like just find overall a nostalgic feeling. I think I can say I'm blessed enough that me and my generation, since I'm like a millennial, technically like on the edge of a Gen Z, like I could say I'm blessed enough to know that I grew up with such great memories of video games and just television in general, because my era is where cartoons were not as gory as, I say, the cartoons in the 80s or the 70s, but it still had those mature context. And as an adult, you can appreciate it now. You can spot those jokes now, because you know, over time you got older and you got wiser. But since games are still moving on towards appealing to my audience, a mature audience, or just adults in general, it just sucks that kids won't be able to experience that, and that the only option they have is Call of Duty, Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, and what else are they playing? I grew up with, or I played and experienced the games I listed: Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Sonic Riders, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter. If I can name 10 games, that was good. A little bit of Mario, Zelda, like Kingdom Hearts, fucking I'm trying to think, but I think you get the point. Like, I grew up with games with such memorable stories that I can gravitate to even at my age, because they had such an impact on my life. Not like life lesson wise, but just overall enjoyment. Because gaming at the end of the day is there for you to escape reality and for you to enjoy yourself. And the fact that kids are just relying, or kids are just being, or the fact that kids only have those games to really enjoy themselves and it's extremely competitive is like, it's no real downside, except for Minecraft and Roblox. But Fortnite and shit like that is extremely competitive, and you're in that toxic environment, when you're dealing with people that talk and shit like that. I don't think it's good at all. So I honestly feel that they need to bring back rated E games, or at least expand more on newer IPs and titles to where kids, or like I said already, E is for everyone, not just for kids, or like different people can play, especially with a story. Because I would play any game that has an interesting and good story, and it doesn't have to be rated M or T. It doesn't have to appeal to a certain audience. It can appeal to everybody, hence why it's rated E. And the fact that I'm seeing so little of that nowadays just means it's going in a certain direction where gaming companies and game developers are not really appreciating what that title stands for, or what that rating stands for. But yeah, I just wish that we would see more newer titles in general, and just more games with story content, and games that are not so heavily revolved around multiplayer. I think it'll be really cool, and for gaming companies to experiment on different games and different IPs like they did in the past. But if you stuck with me to the end of this video, I greatly appreciate it. Much love to everybody watching. Please be safe, wear your mask, COVID and all that, and I hope y'all have an amazing day. Thank you.